It was just a summer night, a Little League baseball game, a mother watching from the bleachers, and a 6-year-old girl catching fireflies in the dusk. Then she vanished. In a span of seconds, under the buzz of stadium lights and the soft cheer of parents, Morgan Nick disappeared. No screams, no struggle, no trace. 1 second, she was there. The next, gone. Witnesses saw a red pickup truck, a man with no shirt, a country accent, and a stare that lingered just a little too long. For nearly 30 years, no one could say what really happened to Morgan Nick, until just a few months ago, when her hair, found in the back of that truck, finally spoke the truth. If you agree that no child should ever vanish in the dark while the world watches a game, hit the like button. Every click keeps her name alive. June 9th, 1995. Alma, Arkansas population. Barely 5,000. Morgan's mother, Colleen Nick, wasn't planning to go. The stadium was 30 miles away. It was already late. But a family friend had invited them, and Morgan wanted to go. She brought just her eldest daughter, left the younger kids with grandma. One game, one evening, one decision. The bleachers were crowded, 300 people in attendance. Morgan sat beside her mom for a while, but grew restless. Then she spotted 2 other kids she knew. They asked her to come play, to chase fireflies by a nearby hill. At first, Colleen hesitated. It was their first time in Alma. It was dark, but friends reassured her. All the kids play here. It's safe. So she let Morgan go. Morgan ran off, her laughter drifting with the fireflies. For the next 15 minutes, Colleen glanced toward the kids, checking in every few moments. Then the game ended. She looked away, just for a second. When she turned back, Morgan was gone. The 2 other kids were walking back to the bleachers. Morgan wasn't with them. She asked them where Morgan had gone. "We were shaking sand out of our shoes," they said. "Morgan was behind the car. Then she just wasn't there anymore." That car, a red pickup with a white camper shell, had been parked near the field. The kids remembered a man standing near it, watching them, sometimes glancing toward the stadium. He had spoken to them briefly. They didn't remember what he said, only his country accent and bearded face. By the time Colleen reached the parking lot, the truck was gone, and so was Morgan. Morgan Nick was born on September 12th, 1988, in Ozark, Arkansas. She was the kind of child whose heart outgrew her tiny body. Her parents divorced when she was 6, but her childhood remained full of light. She adored her younger siblings, read them bedtime stories, practiced reading aloud from her Girl Scout books. She wanted to be a veterinarian. She loved animals that deeply. When Colleen would come home from work, Morgan would greet her at the door, excited to share her day's adventures. She had this way of making everyone feel like they mattered, her mother once said. Even adults couldn't help but smile when they talked to her. She was gentle, curious, happy. Morgan wasn't the kind of child who ran away. She wasn't rebellious. She was trusting, and that may have been her only mistake. Her disappearance wasn't just a family's tragedy. It became Arkansas's most haunting mystery. Because children like Morgan, they're not just missed. They leave behind echoes in the lives they would have touched, in the future they never got. What do you think happened that night? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. The more voices that speak her name, the harder it is for the world to forget her. The crime scene wasn't a house, it wasn't a dark alley, it was a family baseball game with hundreds of people watching, and somehow, no one saw a thing. When Alma police arrived just 6 minutes after the 911 call, the bleachers were still full. Parents, coaches, children. 300 sets of eyes, yet not a single clear witness. The 2 children Morgan had been with described a man near the red pickup truck. No shirt, jeans, country accent, a beard and mustache. They remembered him watching them, standing by the camper shell, speaking briefly. The vehicle? A red pickup with Arkansas plates, a white camper shell, oddly short for the model, suspiciously so. Enough space for a child or a body. Police rushed to the parking lot, but the truck and the man were gone. Officers began interviewing every spectator. Nothing. No strange noises, no screams, no commotion. Just a girl who vanished into thin air. As night fell, Morgan's mother refused to leave the stadium. She stayed at the local fire station, waiting for news. But dawn brought nothing. No footprints, no tire marks, no Morgan. The next morning, the case exploded. FBI, state police, helicopters, all mobilized. Posters, Amber Alerts, a composite sketch of the man near the truck, built from the children's memories. Then came the patterns. A mother in Alma reported that just hours before the game, a man in a red pickup truck had tried to lure her 4-year-old near a laundromat. She turned away for a moment, and the man spoke to her daughter. She chased him off. The description matched. The next day, a witness in Fort Smith, another town nearby, said a man tried to lure a 9-year-old girl into a public restroom. Same red truck, same man, same description. This wasn't just one attempt, it was a pattern. Police followed hundreds of leads, tracked down over 250 red trucks across Arkansas. Every suspect checked, every vehicle examined. Nothing stuck. Then a spark of hope. A man in Stuttgart, 3 hours away, reported an intruder trying to break into his car. Holding a little girl by the hand, he saw the face, he saw the child. He said it looked just like Morgan. Police deployed a 10-square-mile manhunt. Search dogs, helicopters, roadblocks. Morgan's parents raced to the scene. They searched for 16 hours. No sign of the girl, no red truck, no abductor. Then came the twist. The man lied. 2 polygraphs later, he confessed. He made it all up, said he wanted attention. His lie wasted a full day of manpower, cost thousands of dollars, and crushed a mother's hope. If you've made it this far, you already know this case isn't just about a missing girl. It's about how easily a whole town can miss a predator hiding in plain sight. If you want more stories like this, that stay with you long after the screen fades, hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell. For years, the investigation stalled. Search dogs, excavations, anonymous tips, false leads, empty fields, too many red trucks. Her mother refused to stop. She founded a nonprofit to help other missing children. She gave speeches, traveled, spoke to every camera she could, but no new evidence came. Then, in 2001, the FBI released an age progression photo of Morgan. She would have been 13. The image went viral. TV shows featured her case. Thousands of new tips poured in. One tip, from Boonville, was different. A caller claimed Morgan's body was buried there. The caller knew details that weren't public. Police obtained a warrant, dug up the property, nothing. The years blurred. 2002, 2010, 2017, still no Morgan. But in 2019, a new documentary aired. For the first time, the public saw a blurry photo, a snapshot of the red truck believed to be tied to the abduction, taken during the game. And that image sparked something. Detectives reopened every lead. One name kept coming up. Billy Lynx, a man with a record for offenses against children. A man who had once owned a red truck with a white camper shell. A man questioned back in 1995 and dismissed. Why? He was 70 years old at the time. Too old, they thought, to match the description. But in 2021, detectives gave him a second look. Billy had died in 2000, just 5 years after Morgan vanished, while serving time for trying to kidnap another child. What if they had been wrong all along? They searched for his truck. Against all odds, they found it. Still running, still intact. And inside, something was waiting. Billy Lynx was a man who had slipped through the cracks for decades. A retired military veteran, soft-spoken, mostly invisible. But beneath that surface was a history of disturbing behavior, especially around young girls. In the summer of 1995, just 2 months after Morgan vanished, Billy was arrested for attempting to lure another child into his truck. This time, in broad daylight. The mother intervened. Billy was caught, and he was sentenced to prison. He died behind bars 5 years later, taking every secret with him. Back in 1995, police had no physical evidence to tie him to Morgan. They had questioned him, even searched his truck, but without witnesses, DNA, or a confession, he was just another name on the long list of suspects. Until now. In 2024, nearly 3 decades later, detectives finally located Billy's old truck. The vehicle had changed hands many times. But inside the truck bed, forensic experts discovered several strands of hair. They were old, degraded, fragile, but they were preserved. The hairs were sent to a state-of-the-art lab in Texas, specializing in degraded DNA. And after 8 painstaking months, The results came back. A first-degree match to Morgan's mother. The hair belonged to one of her children. Morgan had been in that truck. There was no other explanation. Billy Lynx, the man dismissed for being too old, had been the abductor all along. But the timeline posed a chilling question. If Billy died in 2000, what did he do with Morgan between 1995 and then? Was she kept alive? Or did he kill her within days, like the others? Police believe the answer is grim. They now suspect Billy murdered Morgan soon after abducting her, likely hiding her body somewhere remote, where he knew no one would look. He had the skills, he had the time, and he had the pattern. But with no confession and no remains, the full truth remains just out of reach. What do you think? Could Billy Lynx have had more victims? Share your thoughts in the comments. Morgan's mother, Colleen, never stopped searching, even after the world moved on. Even after her daughter's name faded from headlines, she remained the constant voice behind Morgan's case. A mother turned advocate, turned activist. She founded the Morgan Nick Foundation, a nonprofit helping families of missing children across the U.S. Every town she visited, every camera she spoke to, she carried Morgan's story with her, as both a warning and a prayer. In Arkansas, the Amber Alert was renamed in her daughter's memory, the Morgan Nick Alert, a system designed to make sure no other child disappears unnoticed, to make sure no other mother spends 30 years waiting for a knock on the door. But the pain never left. Colleen said in interviews that she still dreams of Morgan, still sets a place for her, still wonders what her voice might sound like today. "I will never give up," she once said, "but now, I just want to bring her home." Morgan Nick would have been 36 years old this year. She never got to grow up, never got to become a veterinarian, never got to read her little brother a bedtime story again. All because one man, hiding in plain sight, took her away under the cover of summer twilight and left a wound in America that never truly healed. If this story stayed with you, if it left you shaken, consider hitting the like button. If you want to see more stories like this, that expose the horrors most people never hear about, subscribe, because some crimes don't just scar families, they scar entire generations.